On the question of final passage, recognizes the gentleman from Allegheny County, Representative Saccone.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in support of this budget. We've heard the voices of a variety of special interests today, but now I think it's time to hear the voice of the taxpayer. Because at the bottom of the heap is the taxpayer, struggling to make ends meet while paying for all these programs and all those who insist that they have the right to the working man's money. Mr. Speaker, no man has the right to the fruits of another man's labor. It belongs in the pocket of the taxpayers. But we are a generous people, Mr. Speaker. But the taxpayer doesn't get a step increase. In fact, the taxpayer in the last few years has lost income. And yet, for example, our state universities have enjoyed a 7% pay increase. You see, Mr. Speaker, their inability to control costs is at the root of their problem. It's not how much money that we continue to feed them. But when you try to point this out, you're demonized. It reminds me of going when the fat man goes to the doctor. And I'm not saying I'm speaking from personal experience or anything, but when you go to the doctor and the doctor says, "Sir, you're overweight, and you need to trim down, and you need to consume less, and we're going to make you exercise and compete to help you trim down." And I say, "Doctor, you're against me. You hate me. You want to destroy me." And the doctor says, "No, I'm trying to make you healthy. I'm trying to make you better." I say, "No, you're not. You're trying to hurt me." That's what it feels like when you're trying to fix these problems that are inherent in our state system. Mr. Speaker, our opponents are in denial about the oppressive property taxes that the taxpayers suffer under, about the automatic public employee pay increases, and they're in denial about a pension system that is $48 billion underfunded. Now, I've heard it said here by my good colleague from Allegheny County that adding money to the state pension system, and we added $300 million to that system this time. It's a lot of money. And he said that somehow is not an education expense. Well, my good colleagues, I want to tell you that pension is part of the total cost to put a teacher in the classroom. It is the cost some of our predecessors failed to fund properly and left us with this legacy. And so that has put our pension fund in jeopardy today. And we're working to restore that funding and preserve those people's pensions that they're going to depend on 5 years from now, or they're depending on right now, or they're going to depend on 5 years from now or 10 years from now. We're trying to fix that problem. In the past, this legislature played a shell game of manipulating money, spending money we did not have to reward special interests at the expense of the taxpayer. Well, the taxpayer is tapped out. They demand we spend within our means. And this is a fiscally responsible budget, and I encourage you all to support it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair, thanks to